every week for our kitchen conversations and learn a thing or two. And I don't burn nothing in my kitchen.
This is Barbara Berrigan-Perea with Delta Flows, a radio show by the Voice of Stockton and Restore the Delta. This is the weekly radio show where we discuss everything Delta related: the environment, water management, water quality, farming, history and culture, public events, recreation, Delta food, and the arts. Tune into Delta Flows on KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at KXVS Radio.
KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, live. The Voice of Stockton at Stone Soup Studio. KXVS.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Hi, this is Joy Neas with Behind the Art Scene on KXVS, the Voice of Stockton. And today my guests are Scott Rooker and Minnie Eichele, and they're from the Stockton Chorale. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Scott Rooker is the president of the Stockton Chorale, and Minnie Eichele, she's a singer with the Stockton Chorale and the Master Chorale. Scott, could you tell us what the Stockton Chorale is?
Yeah, of course. The Stockton Chorale is a community choir. We've been singing in Stockton since 1951. In 1951, a lot of people around here remember Art Holton, who was a music choir director at Delta for years and years. He started the group with 8 singers at his house. And so we have grown since that time, and now we have about 100 adults and about 30 kids across 5 different ensembles, 5 different choirs now.
Yeah. And so where do you usually perform?
We perform typically at Central United Methodist Church on Pacific Avenue and St. John the Baptist Episcopal Church in Lodi. Those are our sort of standard venues that we've been using for the last several years. But we're branching out now and starting to perform in some other places. This Saturday, our concert is at Atherton Auditorium at Delta. And one of our concerts in April will be at a new venue, the Vineyard Chapel at Cherokee Memorial Park. So we're excited to be at new places and get in front of some new people.
Oh, that's wonderful. Minnie, you were saying how that about the performing. I lost my train. Can you talk to us a little bit about the upcoming concert?
Well, this concert is a special concert in recognition of Martin Luther King, and we're very excited about it because we have a lot of new music, and there's a commissioned work that we're singing. The Big Chorale will be singing it. We have groups coming, band groups coming from Danville, right? Yeah. Danville and Berkeley, right? And that'll be performing with us, and we're very excited about the songs that we're singing. They're all about Martin Luther King, or about his perspective on life and what he wanted for our world.
Uh-huh. So how do you guys choose the themes of your concerts? I just love what you're doing. How did this particular concert come about?
Thank you. Our artistic director, Dr. Bruce Southard, who's the professor of choirs at Delta, he is responsible for coming up with our artistic plan, and so we talk usually the season before about kind of what he's got in his mind and what he would like to do, and sometimes we brainstorm with him about things that we've sung in the past that we think might work. So we had a concert. We usually have 2 concerts in our spring semester, so we usually sing in February or March and in April and May. And so I think his idea was that it being Black History Month in February, it would be a good opportunity to do this. So our concert's called Awaken the Dream, and we have several songs that were popular during the civil rights era, and we have, as Minnie said, a new work that we commissioned. We raised money in partnership with the Danville Community Band to to commission a new piece of music. So David Conti, a San Francisco composer, wrote the music and set it to a poem about Martin Luther King by a poet called Myra Cone Livingston. So that will be a brand new work that's never been heard before. We've been rehearsing it for about 6 weeks. The Danville Band's been working on it also, and so this Saturday at Delta will be the first time anyone's ever heard it.
Oh, wonderful. You said you had that poem with you?
Yeah, I do.
If you could read it.
Yeah, it's called Martin Luther King Day. It's part of a collection of poems she did about holidays. So she's got one for New Year's and one for Christmas and one for St. Patrick's Day, etc. And this is her poem for Martin Luther King Day. The dream of Martin Luther King will happen in some far-off spring, when winter ice and snow are gone. One day the dreamer in gray dawn will waken to a blinding light, where hawk and dove in silent flight brush wings together on a street still thundering with ghostly feet. And soul will dance and soul will sing and march with Martin Luther King.
Oh, that's wonderful. Exceptional.
We're actually going to also have a special guest at the concert. Tama Brisbane, our Stockton's Poet Laureate, is going to be there, and she's going to read that poem that I just read, and she's also going to perform one of her own poems.
Is she writing a poem specifically for the day, or?
I don't know. I think it's one she may have written before, but it certainly fits with the theme of the concert. Yeah.
And you said David Washington is going to be there. He's going to be playing some piano, or
his band is coming. Yeah, the Joshua David group is going to be there, and they're going to play a set of songs. He's got some Nina Simone, and let's see what else. He's got a Marvin Gaye song, and also something that he's composed. So we're excited to have them.
Yeah. That's great to have all these collaborations between groups. I remembered what I was going to ask you, Minnie. You said that this now is part of a class at Delta. Can you talk about that?
Well, because Dr. Southard works there, he has arranged for us to have our rehearsals at the college, and it's been very beneficial to our group. We don't have to pay the dues that we had previously when we were working off campus, because we had to pay for facility wherever we were. So as a class, we're allowed to be there as a class. We don't have to pay dues, but if you want credit, then you're expected to pay for the credit. So it has given us a little bit of freedom, but we're still nonprofit, and we still have concerts off campus. We still have staff to pay, pianists, conductors, our business manager, so we still need to have fun. So, it's all part of the package of being a nonprofit, having to raise funds and do those kind of things.
But like you're being a class that enables you to use the Atherton Auditorium. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's much nicer. It's a beautiful facility, but it's a very big one. So we really would like a large audience to come out and hear this concert. It's going to be spectacular, with some spectacular musical groups and music, not to mention the music. That's what we're there for. And music is communication. Without an audience, you don't have anybody to communicate with. So we're really anxious to have people come out and hear us and learn what the chorale's about, because you don't know what we're about until you really see us do something. Many times, I'm a member of the chorale. What's that? They don't even know. You do horses? No. So it's a learning experience too. So we're children are free, and students too, I believe.
Students and children are free. Yep. Adults, I believe, are $10, I would think.
Yeah, something like that.
The poster's right behind you if you want to.
Yeah.
There it is.
Also, you can get information on our website, www.stocktonchorale.org, or at Delta College's website, www.deltacollege.edu. The tickets for this event are going through the Delta box office, so you can contact the Delta box office if you want tickets and get them that way.
So you can buy them up to the. Can you buy them like just right before the concert, or
yep, you can get them
in advance, or?
Yes, you can get them at the door or in advance through the Delta box office.
Whenever the box office is open.
Okay.
So.
Okay, and you mentioned about the. I think that's really interesting about the exchange with the Danville group, and Then in the future, you guys are going to go over to Danville and also sing there?
Yeah, that was part of the arrangement with them. They were our partner in raising the funds for the commission, and they're, of course, going to perform it with us. So they are going to come and be at our concert this Saturday, February 10th at 2:30 at Delta. And then on March 25th, they have a concert that this new commissioned work is also going to be in. So we're going to travel to Danville on March 25th and perform it for them in their concert.
Oh, wonderful. Is that the first time you guys have done something like that? Or?
It's the first time we've had an exchange that way, a sort of, you'll come here and we'll go there sort of situation. The Chorale has performed with other groups in Stockton since almost the beginning. Our first collaboration with the Stockton Symphony was in 1953 when we were only 2 years old. And we still collaborate. We were at the Symphony's Christmas concert this last year, and we have just confirmed that we will be at their Christmas concert again in 2018. And we are working on. We don't have all the details worked out yet, but we're working on also performing on their one of their springtime concerts. The Symphony's doing a wonderful concert that with the theme of sister cities.
Oh, wow.
Stockton has lots of sister cities all over the world, and so the Symphony is planning a program where they perform works that are related to all of our sister cities everywhere.
When is that going to be?
That's going to be in April of 2018. So, April of 2019.
So next year.
Yeah, their next season.
I know I had gone to the Cathedrals of Peace show that you guys had. Can you talk about that? It was last year at...
Yeah, that was our first concert of this season.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. A lot happened this year.
Our main work that the Chorale performed was the Duraflay Requiem. But a lot of the other songs were about just sort of in the theme of finding peace in troubled times. And there's a great story behind our concert sponsors for that concert. We have an opportunity for every concert for people in the community to support us and donate, and one of the donation opportunities we have is as a concert sponsor. So this season we've been lucky to have a concert sponsor for every concert, and our first concert, that Cathedrals of Peace, was sponsored by two of our singers, Phil Spone and Mary Hickman, who have sung with the Chorale for many years. And it wasn't just them wanting to support the Chorale. There was a young man named Germán Aguilar, who was the choir director at Delta and who was about to be our artistic director for the Stockton Chorale. We had just made the decision to hire him, and we were so excited for what he was going to do for our organization, and he was doing great things at Delta. And he was touring with another group, another choir in Italy. And he suddenly fell ill and collapsed and passed away in his late 20s.
Just absolutely tragic.
Yeah, it really was. And so when Phil and Mary wanted to sponsor this concert, they sponsored it in memory of Germán Aguilar. And one of the reasons they chose was because the Duraflay Requiem, that was the main featured piece of that concert, was the piece that Germán was performing on the tour in Italy. And so it was there's a great connection, and that's what I love about the Stockton Chorale and about the Stockton arts community, is we are so connected to each other. And in the Chorale, I was born in Stockton. I'm a Stockton native, and many other people in the Chorale are too. And so we always know the same people, and we have the shared experience of living and working in Stockton, and coming together with this group of people to sing every Tuesday night is a great way to be a part of your community and be connected to other people who love to sing and love the arts.
So, Minnie, how long have you been with the Chorale?
Well, I met Dr. Holton when I was on scholarship to Pacific Music Camp when I was 16, and that's when I first met him. And I was there for cello. And he invited me to sing with the chapel choir and the big choir. And I started singing with the Stockton Chorale when I was 16, off and on, school and all that kind of thing. But I have come back to the chorale in 1995 when Dr. Joe Miller was our director, and I started singing with them when the master chorale from then on. So it's been steady since 1995.
Wow. Now you talk about the master chorale. How are they different than the regular Stockton chorale?
The master chorale, we're auditioned a little bit differently. We're expected to be more musician-minded. I don't know, how would you explain? I don't want to call us elitist, but we're specialized voices that have been kind of chosen to participate and sing music that tends to be a little more difficult, a little more demanding than the big chorale. We're a smaller group. We have about 4 on a part. So there's about 16.
Yeah, the idea for our organization is to have a place for anyone to sing. So we have 3 different adult groups. When we talk about the big chorale, that's officially the Stockton Chorale, which is also the name of sort of the umbrella organization. But we also have the Stockton Singers and the Master Chorale. So the Stockton Singers is a place for those who are just getting into singing. We have several people who sing with us that took up singing in a choir later in life, and they're new to it, and they don't have a lot of experience. So the Stockton Singers is a great place for someone to start.
And it's non-audition.
There's no audition. You can just come and sing, and so the types of music that they sing is very accessible and very fun, and we have singers in all the other groups that want to sing in the Stockton Singers because they have the most fun there.
Do the Stockton Singers always sing at a performance?
Usually, I won't say always, because sometimes their concert efforts are slightly different from our concert efforts. For example, I don't think they're singing on this concert in February, but they will be singing at our April concert, and they have sung on our concerts so far this year. And then we have the big chorale, the Stockton Chorale, that is, the music is a little more advanced. You got to work a little harder, and it helps if you have a little more experience. But we have first-time singers in that group too. There is a painless audition that you have to go through for that one. And then the Master Chorale is yet more refined, with more experienced singers with a little more training, and their music is even still a little more complicated and harder, and they work really hard. They work too hard for me. I stay in the big chorale. And
Rick Campero is the director of the Stockton Singers, and he's a teacher in Manteca. He teaches elementary music, and he's just a fabulous director, and he does direct the Stockton Singers, and they have a ball. He's just fabulous. So.
I wanted to ask, when you sing, can you look at your music, or you have to memorize everything?
We have music to look at if you need to look at it. The idea is that you are not staring at it the whole time. Yeah. But you do have it there, so we're not memorized. And I wanted to say also our 2 youth groups that we have. The youth chorale is under the direction of Joan Colonico. She's a principal at Don Riggio School and has a great music background and has done wonderful things with the youth chorale for many years. And so that starts in 3rd or 4th grade. And then this year we've got a new high school age a cappella group. We formerly didn't really have a place once you aged out of the youth chorale, and that's sort of the teenage high school years, until you were ready to sing with one of the adult groups. And Joan had some really great, talented young singers in the youth chorale that were reaching that age where they couldn't be in youth chorale anymore. And so she wanted to keep them singing and keep them engaged. So we started this an a cappella group. So I'm not aware of any other a cappella group in Stockton. So this might be a one-of-a-kind thing and a great, exciting new thing for Stockton to have this high school age a cappella group. So they are actually going to perform on our concert this time, and hopefully we'll get to hear them many times in the future.
So Minnie, I wanted to talk to you about you also are a musician and on the Arts Commission. So you wear a lot of hats, a lot of different groups. What what music do you play? It's the Valley Community Orchestra?
Right. The Valley Community Orchestra is a group that started in October of 2012. And we average around 30 to 35 members. And again, we're a nonprofit. We're directed by Bess Sanders, who's a clarinet player with the symphony. She teaches at Murata Middle School, exceptional musician herself. And
you know, she was my band director in 6th grade when I learned to play the clarinet.
oh, really? You want to come play with our orchestra? We need another
There we go.
clarinet
No,
player.
I haven't played the clarinet in years and years. But that's another example of the connections we were talking
Right.
about. But
And anyway, we have students that are 8th grade on up to 80-plussers. Some of them are retired symphony players. Some of them are people who had their instruments on shelves for years, and they wanted to pull it out and start playing again. And this gives that opportunity, kind of like the chorale, opportunity for people who hasn't done it in a long time, that they want to get out there and do their music again. Mm-hmm. And so we have a lot of fun with that. We've developed scholarships for our youth that are playing with us. So they have like music lessons during the summer. We give them a scholarship when we have the funds, and we allow them to have a scholarship for music lessons during the summer so they can come and play with us and feel better about what they're doing, and it brings up their skills. And you know, the orchestra sounds really good. Check us out, Valley Community Orchestra.
What age are the scholarships? That's high school or
yeah,
junior
usually
high?
the youth that come play with us, they come 8th grade on up through high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is your instrument?
Cello
Cello.
and voice.
And voice. There we go.
Gotta have them both. I majored in music education, but they were both my instruments, my voice and cello.
And so you taught music at grammar school, or?
I taught for Stockton Unified for over 30 years. I taught everything from kindergarten all the way through high school. I had orchestras, choirs, bands. I even taught visual arts and dance theater. I've done it all. I'm kind of a Renaissance kind of teacher. I had my fingers in all these different pies.
And now you're with the Arts Commission.
Correct.
Making sure that people are honored. You're on the committee for the Star Awards.
Right. Our Star Awards will be October 27th of this year, and we're very excited about it. Nominations for the Arts Awards, for those that we are honoring, are expected to be in by Thursday. And we hope to have a good set of nominees to pick from so that we have a good slate of people from Stockton that have been involved in the art community here that we can honor, because this is a spectacular city for the culture and for the arts that we have here. It's amazing, and they're all kind of hidden. We're all artists, and we kind of do our thing and don't think about honors, but we want to make sure that our artists and musicians and, you know...
and there's a new award for youth, for a young person?
Right, we call it the Starlighter. We have never really honored a youth, a minor. But there's so many talented young people out there. If you watch like TV and you watch America's Got Talent, there's so many young people out there doing things that are absolutely amazing. And as we look around town and we see different groups and organizations, we see them dancing, we see them singing, we see them performing. And this is a good way for us to honor a youth, a minor.
Is that someone in high school?
It could be any youth, any minor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
any age.
I was going to nominate someone, a high school senior. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that deadline is coming up this Thursday, February 8th at 4 p.m. And you can get the application online.
Yes, at StocktonArtsAwards.org. And they can go online there, and that'll give them a link to the nomination form, the nomination packet, and we just ask them to fill out a page who they want to nominate. It has a list of all the different categories that they can put them in. So it's not just Starlighters, it's the Star Awards, which means Stockton Top Artist Recognition, and we have the career, we have the educators, we have Comet, we have Founders, we have City Awards. So there's a lot of different categories
so there's all
out there.
kind of categories, and you can drop off a couple of pages. You just type up why you want to nominate the person, include a photo, and drop all that off to the Chavez Library, to their administration office. So hope you get some nominations on that. Yeah, back to the to this performance on Saturday. One reason it was so exciting to me is just the new themes with peace, yeah. And like the cathedrals of peace. And I've been working with Draw It Out. It's Cleveland School Remembers. We're trying to just stop the gun violence, and we had a few art shows, Art Against Violence, and now, you know, with these themes, they're, you know, musically related. So just showing how we all really are searching for that peace in our lives. So.
Yeah, and we're lucky to live in a community like Stockton that is so diverse and so connected. And while no place is perfect, I think we get along pretty well in Stockton. Compared to other places, and I've grown up here, and my father was born here, and it's just a great community, and we are all looking for a common ground, and I wanted to mention our concert sponsor for this upcoming concert is Brookside Optometric Group, and they've been really great in wanting to be involved with the arts in Stockton, and so they're sponsoring our concert coming up, so we're excited to have them work with us.
And I saw on Facebook, I think they're giving away some free tickets.
Yes, I think I was at their website yesterday, and I think the free ticket giveaway may have expired at midnight last night.
Okay, okay. All right.
So we're just barely too late for that, but we appreciate their support, and they have they are giving away 2 free tickets to the concert.
So the tickets are affordable now. I think it was $12 on the poster there. Usually you guys charge about $25. So
usually it is $25.
So it's about half price. I saw that it's also being sponsored by the Arts Commission. So.
Yes. Yeah.
That's me.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a lot of collaboration and partnership on this concert, so we're excited about that, and we're looking forward to doing things more that way in the future. Our April concert we have coming up is this on the theme of old American songs, and so it was a perfect opportunity. Our concert sponsor for that concert is the Bank of Stockton.
Oh, wonderful.
The Bank of Stockton just happens to be celebrating their 150th anniversary this year.
Okay.
So it meshed perfectly to celebrate old American songs and with their history. We're also going to be partnering with the San Joaquin Human Services Agency they do a backpack drive for, I think, Mary Graham Shelter every year. And so we're partnering with them as well. So for our April concert, April 28th and 29th, if you bring a backpack, you'll get half off, or you'll get a 2-for-1 voucher for a future concert of ours. So we are starting to be more involved with other nonprofits in the area and trying to help them do what they do, and hopefully they will help us do what we do, and we can all succeed together.
So I know that the Bank of Stockton, they have probably the largest archive of archival photographs of Stockton. Would they be exhibiting any of their photographs at your concert?
We haven't talked to them about that, but that's a really good idea.
Bill Maxwell, as the archivist, maybe he could help with that.
I think I'll give Bill a call. That's a terrific idea that I would love to see.
So that's how these some of these things happen, just talking amongst ourselves. So the Valley Community Orchestra, you would also like to play with the Stockton Chorale, right?
Oh, yeah, it would be great fun, because they're always looking for good organizations to accompany them. Well, Valley is, like I said, a community group, and sometimes when you have community groups working together, it's really loads of fun. Valley Community Orchestra likes to do in our concerts to invite other groups to perform with us, and we did a concert with the community band. We've done concerts with Little Manila. We're doing that one in November with Little Manila Collective. We're doing one this spring in April in Lodi with, believe it or not, a dance group that does hip hop dance group.
What's the name of that group?
I'm not sure.
And you guys, you worked with Kimia?
Yeah, Kimia did a concert with us with her drumming.
Rahina?
Yeah, and she sang with us. That was loads of fun. And we did with Dennis Yamamoto and his ukulele group. They did a concert with us. So we do a lot of collaborations this way. It kind of, sharing the stage with another group, and it's kind of fun. And then we try to do like a number together if we can, and it gives them a platform as well as us. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. I know that when I've seen you around Minnie, I wanted you to just briefly share that story about the preschool, the little thing in your
Jack and Jill.
The Jack and Jill. Please feel free to share that story.
Jack and Jill was a parent cooperative, and we were basically originally under the umbrella of Stockton Unified. Stockton Unified gave us the property. Jack and Jill built the building. Now, I wasn't there during that part. I didn't join that until my children were born and of the 3- and 4-year-old age. But it was originally on the old El Dorado site, in the back side where we had first building. And then they wanted that area, and then they started developing the new El Dorado. Well, then we were over in the basement of the old El Dorado, the big 3-story building. We were in there for a while until we were moved to the Wilson School property, where our building was moved. The school district gave us the property. We put our building on it. So we were there for, I don't know how many years. Liz Lark was the last teacher there. When my children were going, it was Gladys Ikeda was one of the teachers, and Pat Belrose. She was the wife of one of the music teachers, actually, for Stockton Unified. And that was earlier on. My children were there in the 70s. And then my grandchildren off and on went there too. From Wilson, they decided that the school district wanted the property back. They wanted the building because they said it's on our property, therefore it's our building. So, okay, fine, here's the building. We left the site. My daughter, they told us because all of the equipment and everything that was there belonged to Jack and Jill. So my daughter wanted the cheese because that was... And then
the cheese. The cheese, and the picture was in the paper and everything. It was kind of cool, but it was really funny because we found out that the cheese was actually donated to the school in 1970. That was the year my daughter was born. She got the cheese 20 years later, and anyway, it's on her property, and now all of my grandchildren have outgrown the cheese. My youngest one is 11, so we're trying to find a way that we can donate it, hopefully to like Pixie Woods, where it would be wonderful, enjoyed by many more young children. So do you crawl through the cheese? Is it like a play equipment?
Yeah, it's like a Swiss cheese. It has big holes in it that the kids can jump through or sit on or jump off of. Many of them did that too.
Okay, Pixie Woods, we have a cheese for you. That'd be wonderful to just. I love carrying on, the historical traditions and passing them from place to place.
Well, right now I have the 4 scrapbooks of all of Jack and Jill. Liz Lark gave them to my daughter and I hope to pass them on to Bill Maxwell, who has all this archives for Stockton, and he said he would be interested in it, but I haven't had a chance to get with him.
Or something like that could actually go to the Hagen Museum. Maybe they could do a display on that, Susan Obert.
So check with them, huh?
Yes, have a whole display. Have the cheese go to the Hagen first, and then over to Pixie. All right.
Yeah, I've been in conversations with John Alita, who's in charge of the Department of Park and Recs, and he says we need to write a letter that we'd like to donate it. But part of the problem is how do we get it from my daughter's backyard to Pixie Woods?
Okay, we need a truck.
With a winch.
A van. So it's really heavy?
It's solid cement.
Oh, okay.
Solid cement.
Right. Big van, big, some kind of hauling device. Okay. All right, so we've told the story of the cheese. Do you know Scott, any other programs that what the theme of the chorale would be next year, or what other things you're working on? Or?
Yeah, we're still working on it for next year, so we don't have anything finalized that I know of yet. We will, of course, be doing a holiday concert. We always do that, and I mentioned before we'll be singing with the symphony at their holiday concert as well.
Oh.
So we'll have that to look forward to. I think I heard a rumor that our holiday concert next year may be December around the world. Oh, wow. So that is always fun to hear holiday songs from Africa and from South America and from Europe and everywhere around the world, because there are different Christmas traditions and different songs that from other cultures, that those are always fun to.
Yeah, actually, I've been involved with the Mexican Heritage Center for 20 years, and so I'm very interested in different world traditions. And I did these Chorale. It's a starred lantern, Filipino star lantern. So it'd be a great. That could be a lobby display. Have a little art show with all the different cultures, maybe the different. Could bring some of their works, or have a little display. Or,
yeah,
that'd be nice.
That would you could even bring in like some of the foods. Do you guys ever have food at your concerts?
We never have had food at our concerts. That'd be an interesting idea.
A little refreshments or something. I know one thing that the homeless shelter they do every year is it's kind of a I forget the name of it, but it's like food from around the world, an international food festival over at a church on Ben Holt, and just to see the different foods and with the arts, with the music, with how we all go together.
Right.
That would be great. So at Delta College, you were mentioning about that the Stockton Chorale, they have a classroom, and you guys meet. It's on Tuesday evenings? Or?
Yes, the Stockton Chorale meets on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 9:30 in room Holt 213. And the Master Chorale meets there on Monday evenings.
And the Stockton Singers rehearse on Tuesday a little earlier, 5:30 to 6:45, I think. At Central United Methodist on Pacific Avenue.
And what about the children's, the youth?
They also rehearse at Central United Methodist, and I think they are Sundays and Thursdays right now.
Are they meeting at Don Riggio?
Oh, you're right. They do rehearse at Don Riggio.
I think they moved to there.
Yeah, so they rehearse at Don Riggio School on Brookside Road.
And how do you go about finding like new venues for the Stockton Chorale? You were saying you're trying to branch out to some new places.
Yeah, it's an interesting process because they have to work logistically and acoustically. Mm-hmm. So there are some places we've sung in before that are fantastic logistically. There's plenty of parking. There's plenty of seats for everyone. The seats are nice and close so you can see, but it doesn't sound good. Mm-hmm. And so it sort of has to be a balance of whether it works for us musically and whether it works for us logistically. The Vineyard Chapel in Lodi that we're going to be trying out in April, they actually approached us. Cherokee Memorial Park has built a new facility there, this Vineyard Chapel, that they really want to start hosting events in. And so they approached us and said, would you be interested in having one of your concerts here? And we went and checked it out. And so we haven't sung there yet, but from what I've seen, it looks like a fantastic venue. So we're excited to do that. Some of the challenges sometimes with venues are, I remember in one of our venues we had it was on a busy street, and so right in the middle of a beautiful solo, in the middle of something, a pack of motorcycles drove by out on the street, and so things like that happen. That's part of the That's part of the equation of whether a venue works for us or doesn't work for us.
So is there a certain size of the venue, or how many people you can sit? Or,
we like to have venues that are at least 300 people or so. We can't have more than that. Sometimes our holiday concerts tend to be our best attended concerts, and we have had 500 or 600 before at one of those concerts. But that's a good problem to have if your venue's not big enough.
Yeah. So how many people can the Central United Methodist? How many does that seat?
I think we have had 500 in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a pretty big facility.
Because I just went to I love going to the Chamber Music Festival that they have, and it used to be at St. John's downtown. Then they moved it to Zion Lutheran, and they said it was because of the acoustics it sounded better. Have you thought of maybe having something at Zion Lutheran? Or?
I think Zion's too small.
That's a little small.
Well, we'll check it out, because one of our singers actually attends there, and he just approached me last week and said, maybe you should think about Zion Lutheran. So I haven't been over there yet, but we'll certainly go over there and look and see if it works.
Yeah.
I think it's really too small for our bigger concerts, Paul Kimball does all the, those concerts. And I've sung with his group in there, and it's I think, might be too small, but it needs to be checked out. That's part of the problem, is trying to find good performance areas. We don't have, different cities around have their own, a real community center.
Yes, that is a problem with Stockton. I love Stockton, nice. But we need more community venues.
Yeah.
The Delta College has... the venue, the symphony performs in Atherton. Atherton is sort of our definitive venue in Stockton, but it seats 1,400, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So that has its own problems when a venue is too big. That's another problem as well.
How many people do you usually get at a concert?
I think we always do our concerts in twos, except for this coming up Saturday is an exception. That's just a single concert. But we usually have a concert in Stockton and one in Lodi that are the same program, a day apart. In April, for example, it's the 28th and 29th. So we'll do the 28th in Stockton and the 29th in Lodi with the same program. So if you combine the attendance for both of those concerts, we usually have between 500 and 600.
Okay, but just for Stockton.
For one concert, probably between 300 and 400 probably.
It came out of the blue here. Morris Chapel. That's such a glorious place.
Yeah, I have not sung there, but I have heard about that, and we have sung at Face Banos before as well. We did talking about community partnerships. We did a concert for our 60th anniversary season back in 2015. That we did Handel's Messiah, and we got an orchestra that played period instruments. So an orchestra now that we see, if you go to see the Stockton Symphony, that's known as a romantic orchestra, and the numbers of instruments and even the kinds of instruments have evolved over time. So Messiah was written much earlier in the Baroque period, and so we actually hired a Baroque orchestra. So the idea was to hear Messiah as it would have sounded when Handel wrote it. And also we took that opportunity to do another community partnership with the Child Abuse Prevention Council, and we raised some money for them with that concert because when Messiah was originally performed in London, when Handel wrote it, its first couple of concerts were actually benefit concerts for London's foundling hospitals, for the orphanage hospitals in London. Wow. And so we thought that would be a nice tradition, since that's how Messiah got started, that we partnered with the Child Abuse Prevention Council and raised some money for them with our version of Messiah. So that was at Face Banos Concert Hall, and we liked singing there as well. We're always looking for new places and new people that we can get connected to, and new places to perform.
So have any of the UOP musicians come and played with you?
Yeah, we do have soloists from UOP from time to time, and also instrumentalists, and get play when we sometimes we hire our own small orchestra in addition to singing with the symphony. Sometimes we will get an orchestra together ourselves, and a lot of those players come from UOP. We also have collaborated with the symphony with the other choirs. A couple of years ago, the symphony did Carmina Burana, and we need a really big choir for that. So we, in addition to the Stockton Chorale, they had the choirs from Delta and UOP, and we all sang that one together.
That was exciting.
It was exciting, and it was a really cool opportunity because we don't get to, there's sort of a generation gap. I mean, even for me, there's sort of a generation gap, and so we don't get to mix with the college-age kids who are studying music. And so that was a great opportunity because they mixed us all up, and all the tenors were together regardless of what group you were in. So I was sitting next to some UOP kids, and some Delta kids were behind me.
Right.
And it's great to make connections and get connected with sort of the next generation. Hopefully some of those kids will stay in Stockton and come and sing with us in the Stockton Chorale. And that's happened in recent years, especially with us being at Delta. We have 8 or 9 Delta students who are taking the chorale as a class as part of their studies at Delta.
Oh, wonderful. So whose idea was it to bring all the different choirs together?
I think probably Peter Jaffe's idea. He's the artistic director at the symphony, and he has, he's like a mad scientist. He's always working, hatching some scheme.
Right. He decides how big a choir he needs, and then he plugs in the choirs that would fill that void.
So it was his program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of generations, his mother also sings in the chorale. She's a wonderful alto.
She
Very
does.
good.
She taught me to sing, and then I returned the favor and got her to come and sing with the Stockton Chorale.
So that's how it works.
I was in the chorale first. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's a wonderful singer, and so it was interesting to find out that she was his mom, and she looked so young.
Yeah,
Really?
nobody believes it. When, I don't know if that means she looks young or I look old.
So you were telling me how everyone takes turns being president of the chorale?
Yeah, our board is all a volunteer board. So we, as is the chorale in general, we come from all walks of life. We have doctors and lawyers and teachers and business people and civil servants, and so our board is all volunteers. And so I'm the president, new this year. This is my first year as the president, and I'm excited and honored to take that on. But our previous president was president for 5 years, which was longer than normal. Our presidents historically have served for 2-3 years or so, and then it's someone else's turn to step in and take over.
So who was the previous president?
Mark Kolonico was our previous president. He's just recently retired from the Sacramento County Office of Education. He was an administrator for Sacramento schools, and so now he's gone back to just being a singer. His term as president is over, and he can just show up to rehearsals now.
So you're a singer also?
Yes.
What
magnificent singer.
What is your position, or what?
Yeah. I'm a tenor.
You're a tenor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's basses are the low ones, then tenors are the upper men's voice, and then altos and sopranos. Okay. So I'm a tenor. I've been singing with the Stockton Chorale since 2008. So almost 10 years. Oh. Even though my family was musical, I didn't come to singing in a choir until I was in high school. I was a senior in high school the first time I tried singing in choir, and I sort of never looked back. And I grew up here in Stockton. I graduated from Bear Creek High School. I was the first full graduating class at Bear Creek. It opened when I was a sophomore. And so we didn't have any seniors, and we had a few juniors. So I was the first full class at Bear Creek. And then I went away to school at Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, and sung in the men's chorus there and in a couple of opera choruses, and actually met my wife in an opera.
Oh, wow.
She's a dancer, and I'm a singer. So the school was doing a production of La Traviata, which is an opera that has a lot of operas have a ballet sort of incorporated into them. Oh. And so there's a ballet in La Traviata where a troupe of gypsy dancers the opera is set mostly in these grand, lavish Parisian parties, and so all of the chorus members were in these tuxedos with long tails, and I had a giant fake mustache, and you know, we were pretending to be this Parisian party guests at these very, very wealthy, lavish parties. And so the ballet section is in the story. It's a group of gypsy dancers has been hired to come and perform at this party. And so one of the gypsy dancers was kind of cute. and so I asked her out. And so then that's how we met. We have a picture at home of us in our costumes and makeup for the show. So it's a picture of us in the green room, and she's got lots of bronzer on to make her skin brown, and I have my giant mustache and my tuxedo tails, and that's how we met.
So does she still dance in the Stockton area? Or?
Yeah, she's super qualified. And it's her birthday today. So
tell her happy birthday.
So yeah, happy birthday to her. But she's a very impressive person, and she has a bachelor's degree and a Master of Fine Arts degree in modern dance. And so she put me through law school. She taught at a dance studio in Livermore while I was attending law school at McGeorge in Sacramento. So we lived here in Stockton, and she drove to Livermore to work, and I drove to Sacramento to go to school. Recently she's been focusing on the kids, and she was teaching them dance classes at our house for a while. But she would really like to get involved with especially children's dance. She's also certified in Le Bon movement analysis. There's a really great curriculum of movement study that deals with movement patterns in the body. And a lot of them correspond to developmental benchmarks in kids. For example, they discovered that one of the movement patterns is called cross-lateral. It's when you move your left hand and your right foot, and then your right hand and your left foot. And kids learn this when they crawl. And so they discovered that movement pattern is also related to reading skills and scanning left to right. And children who skipped crawling stage and went straight to walking sometimes have trouble reading. And the amazing thing is they discovered that if you teach those kids how to crawl, their reading improves. So these movement patterns in our bodies are connected to other things. And so she also has a certification in this and is interested in incorporating that into children's dance and children's creative movement. So that's her next big project that she's got in the works. But
so hopefully she can do something in Stockton here.
I would love that. Yeah,
that'd be wonderful. Invite her on the show. I can.
That'd be
she can be my guest, and we can talk dance. Well, I'd like to thank you for both being my guests, and Scott, I think you're doing a wonderful job being president of the Stockton Chorale.
Thank you.
And so just to repeat, the event is this Saturday, Awaken the Dream.
Yep, this Saturday at 2:30 at Delta College Atherton Auditorium. And you can get tickets from the Chorale, or from the Delta box office. Okay. So I'm going to be there. I hope all of you guys will be there. Students are free, children are free. I think it's $12 for adults.
$10 for seniors. 10
for seniors. And you can get all those tickets at the Delta College box office, Atherton Auditorium, this Saturday at 2:30. Awaken the Dream. It's going to be wonderful.
Yes, it will be.
So thank you very much for being on the show today, and
thank you for inviting us.
Yes, thank you.
So we'll see you next week on Behind the Art Scene.